going down? It's your boy Juicy J. My hustle is our hustle, man. That's what you're watching right now. It's going down.
Poppin' Kendrick Lamar, my dude Rambo Hustle. Yeah.
Rick Ross, brand new album, set in stone. You already know Rick Ross is going to talk his shit. He's going to have incredible production. To me, Rick Ross is one of the artists with one of the most elite production selections in the last couple decades. When you talk about Justice League, Cool and Dre, and everything he did in Miami throughout his Hustler era, I think it's commendable, you know, and this is me looking beyond the obvious correctional officer allegations that are actually true. You know, this is us giving the grace to the music because it is good music and he is a good rapper, and he really has carried the persona to a T. You know what I mean? So in this album, I do find myself feeling like he's trying to pull Drake type records. And I don't know if I'm conflicted, right? Because on one side, it's like everyone kind of took Ace Hood's flow. And so Rick Ross took Ace Hood's flow. And then Drake came in and took Rick Ross's flow on the Maybach music shit. And I know what you guys are going to say. He was up. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. That mob talk started off real heavy when he got to Miami. That's when everything got certified for him in regards of who can I be? On the opening track, we get the traditional I'm a rapper, in case you forgot type of flow. We get great production, like always, very cinematic, very mob boss, very mob style music, Maybach music, if you will. And also for my independent artists, there is a open beat from 1 minute and 4 seconds to 2 minutes and 4 seconds. I don't know why this happened, but it's there. So if you want to take a stab at the old mixtape routine, you do have plenty of open beat there to have a verse on Rick Ross's Caviar Bumps. Shout out to Caviar Gold out west. Of course, we did some work back in the day. So that's my only reference to Caviar Bumps is Caviar Gold. And if you know Caviar Gold, you know we're talking about expensive taste. And that's what this record sounds like to me. Pink Flamingos. Hey, shout out to Puerto Rico. I already know Rick Ross is a big fan of the Miami Five, so Puerto Rico's not far-fetched. On this record is where he brings in the cafecito, which is, you know, the whole reason I felt it was right to have it for this review. But I'm Mahogany Caskets with T.I. T.I. delivers like 4 different flows within his verse. In addition to lines like Trayvon Diggs, I need a new bitch, obviously a Cardi dig, as well as dudes paid in full. I can pull up the receipts. I don't know who that's a shot of because obviously the movie Paid in Full could have a lot of references. But T.I. seems to be taking a dig at somebody and I can't really put my finger on it. So if you know, let me know what you think. But as far as the record itself, I think it's a great second record. I think Ross always has amazing production, but more importantly, his sequencing is always really good. It always feels like a movie throughout the album. And although I think this album has a couple mishaps where like maybe there was just too many of one kind of record or something that just seemed too slow, too soon, definitely gems throughout it. I just do feel like some of the slower records came in a little bit too early for me and made me feel like kind of dull early on when I want to hear those records later on. Once I'm kind of already hit my peak, now I'm kind of coming down from that. I think that's where they work best. But as far as the first 3 or 4 records on this album, it's beautifully crafted, put together, and I think the order and the sequence all goes amazingly well. Mix in Miami record is super crazy. The beat is bananas. And to me, one of the hottest records of the year, definitely the summer, but definitely of the year, and really has a different sound to it. It also made me realize that they're just going to put Max B on whatever. I kind of think he's maybe picking the beats because I mean, it literally just sounds like everybody just like did their part and Max just went in there, threw something down, and now he's on the record. More power to French and to Ross for holding Max down like that, because that's what real loyalty is about, is putting your homies on records that they have no business being on, which actually reminds me of this video. I would have to agree that the Pac features, especially when you listen to them now, but it's only because we are so blinded by what fame is. Why can't we just listen to a verse and judge it by the verse. Like, why does it have to be, oh, because these people are nobodies to us, this must be a trash verse? You know what's crazy and why I think it still is a classic album? Because regardless of what you think of those verses, you know every last one of those words. I got keys coming from overseas. Dog, you know those verses, 100%. Now, we also get a late Ross verse, and it makes me wonder, are we getting the third verse back? It seems a lot of records now are extending to where at some point they were kind of like at the 2-minute, 2.5-minute mark tops. Now we're starting to see records at 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. So it's interesting to see that trend, and I wonder what's causing that as far as with music listeners that are we listening to this whole record, or do you think it's because people just stream away and the record just kind of like plays and then that's what people listen to? Like, are we really listening to a 4-minute song from Rick Ross, or is this just a new trend of longer records? Let me know what you think, and let me know from the songs you listen to, how many of them are actually that long and we actually go through the whole record. Now, even through all this, we still get this very nice gem from French Montana where he says, I did a lot of wrong things for the right reasons. Now, this is one of those lines that, especially on a record like this, will never get highlighted. Nobody will talk about it, but it's one of these very slight transparency and vulnerability showing moments from an artist that you probably wouldn't expect it. You know what I mean? Like, French Montana doesn't make those kind of records. So it's interesting to get a line like this where we see a little bit of vulnerability from an artist that is normally just masked behind whatever the persona is. I mean, essentially, he's basically telling you that any crime, any wrong that we do sometimes in certain situations, especially in low-income communities or in the hood or just trying to come up hustling, is the fact that, yeah, like, it may be a wrong thing, you know, like, that's kind of like what The Evils is about. If you guys go to Reasonable Doubt, I know that this is the topic of conversation in the past couple weeks or the past week, but if you go to Reasonable Doubt and you listen to The Evils, Jay-Z specifically talks about how hard it is to do what he's doing in the streets. He's coming to terms with the fact that what he's doing is hurting his community. It's hurting his family. It's hurting his loved ones. But it's the only way he sees that he's going to make it to the peak of what he's trying to get to. So it's like, without him doing those wrong things, he doesn't see another path to make it to the peak of the mountain without doing these things. Nothing even remotely close to him suggests that there's another route to that end goal. And that's what this line reminds me of, you know, because the concept of French Montana being the one that's saying it on this record is kind of ironic, but I fuck with it. Now, Face Down is a record that just sounded familiar. And you know why? Because I got a record that I love from Lil Boosie called, oh yeah, that shit is crazy. But this record, it's like, you couldn't just get Future. Which actually made me think, do we have a Future and Rick Ross record? Let me look that up real quick. Let's do a little research and see if there is a Future. Because I don't know. And my phone's about to die, so we about to really not know. Oh, snap.
Rambo Hustle.